Hello, friends, and welcome to the show. So, we knew it was going to be bad, but did we know it was going to be this bad? And by bad, I'm referring to the media softball coverage of the Biden administration. So, the Daily Wire reports this is from Joseph Curl. We all knew it was coming, but we never thought it'd be like this. Not like this. Like the scene from The Matrix when they're all being unplugged. The mainstream media spent 4 years mercilessly berating President Trump, who, according to them, could do no right. They shamelessly skewed or omitted facts in a nonstop persecution that ended with 2 impeachments. In the process, the veil was lifted once and for all on supposed unbiased coverage. The mainstream media was exposed as a unified force, simply targeting a politician who thinks differently than they. So it's no surprise that President Biden, a Democrat, is getting a pass. Even Saturday Night Live, which spanked Trump weekly, hasn't touched him since he took office. But the legacy media has taken the effort to support, even protect the new president to all new heights. That's bananas, right? So Trump is an easy person to make fun of, but so is Joe Biden. Joe Biden doesn't know where he's at. He often falls asleep. He likes to smell small children. He exposes himself to women, allegedly, reportedly. So I don't understand how SNL can't make jokes about Joe Biden. Is it impossible? I don't understand how they can't make jokes about the Joker laugh that Kamala Harris possesses. They're two individuals that are easily able to be made fun of. Heck, they can even make fun of the second gentleman. I'm pretty sure there's some things that are pretty humorous about being the riding in the sidecar for a female power figure, right? Definitely, it's not necessarily making fun of him in a degrading way, basically like calling him a less than, but basically the experiences of he's an important person, right? He's a successful businessman, but then his wife has eclipsed him by becoming the vice president of the United States. And I'm pretty sure there's probably some funny jokes that could be made about that. So it's no surprise that President Biden, a Democrat, is getting a pass. Oh, I already said that. Biden plays Mario Kart with granddaughter at Camp David. Naomi Biden posted on Snapchat this weekend that she and her grandfather played an arcade style game round of Mario Kart at Camp David over the weekend and that he won. Secret Service made an exception to let him drive himself, Miss Biden wrote, adding, a little rusty, but he still won. Even at 78, he's just so cool. Just reading the story here, folks. Newsweek noted this isn't the first time Biden has entered the gaming world. During the 2020 presidential election, Biden had an Animal Crossing New Horizons island set up, engaging with Biden Harris supporters from all over the country and encouraging gamers to vote. The establishment media ate it up. At Camp David retreat, Biden hangs out, shows he's got game, wrote the Washington Post. Here we go. The New York Times, which blasted Trump nearly weekly for popping out of the Oval Office. There was a huge typo in this, so I'm going to throw some words in this. For popping out of the White House for 2 hours to play golf on a weekend, praised Biden for taking some downtime. Did Washington just have an actual weekend? Said one headline. Since Mr. Biden assumed office, the weekends have been portraits of domesticity. I don't know. Mario Kart with the kids at Camp David, bagels in Georgetown, and football in Delaware, said the piece. A Peloton devotee, he hasn't even played golf. Mr. Biden's demonstrable uninterest in generalizing audacious headlines only emphasizes how much the Trump-sized hole in Washington has created a sense of free time in all realms of the Capitol, psychically, if not literally. Okay, all right, let's stop filleting Joe Biden here. CNN jumped with inside the new president's routine, Oval Office fires and early bedtimes. No, he's old and his cyborg body is whatever algorithm is controlling his brain right now is failing. He essentially has narcolepsy. He's falling asleep in the middle of the day, folks. He smells children to basically gather their souls to remain and have that youthful glow whenever possible. He looks like he's getting run down until he can sniff somebody or awkwardly kiss a fellow politician on the back of the head. The story gushed that Biden has coffee in the morning with the first lady. Remember how the media reveled in revealed in showing former First Lady Melania Trump pulling her hand from the president's, never noting that she did so as she prepared to walk downstairs. The breathless piece also noted that Biden has expressed a preference for a fire built in the Oval Office fireplace and sometimes adds a log himself to keep it going. Oh my God, guys, he's just he's just so manly. He can throw a log on the fire. But the softball coverage has extended beyond silliness. In an Orwellian twist, the Post on Monday morphed kids in cages into migrant facility for children. I just did a segment on this on my last video. Go check it out. Throughout Trump's term, the mainstream repeatedly cited kids in cages, claiming foreigners entering the U.S. illegally had their children ruthlessly snatched from them and shoved into cages. It was actually then President Obama who started the practice. And it's not just that, it's actually decent practice if you think about it. So I do disagree with throwing kids in cages, but I do think there should be a cooling off period, especially if there's signs of human trafficking. And if they pick up on that, they're going to go, hey, we're going to separate you guys for 48 hours. We're going to question you both individually. We're going to see if that matches up. If that does not match up, then we're going to investigate you for human trafficking, because it would appear that that is the case. And the reason behind that is, for some reason, there's a rumor, and I wonder if it's because of what Joe Biden's currently doing, that if you have a kid with you, the U.S. will let you just right into the country. They'll let you just walk right in if you have kids, because we can't have kids in cages. We can't separate kids from their parents. That was a whole campaign slogan by the Biden administration. However, that being said, you have coyotes taking advantage of that. So now in these border towns, you're having hundreds and thousands of children go missing because they're being kidnapped and brought across the border against their will. And unless the government does their due diligence, there is no way to know if that person that is accompanying them is actually their biological relative. So, kids in cages is a bad thing, but stopping human trafficking is a necessary task. And not only that, what's important to keep in mind is Trump only had that facility in Texas open for a month. I'm guessing, and if anybody wants to place a wager, I will place crypto like at current price at a certain level. We'll agree on this, that these facilities, or at least one of these facilities, will remain open until 2022, and the media just won't cover it. So if you wanna go up on that, my email is in the channel description. But all that's changed now. First migrant facility for children opens under Biden, but in another twist, the facility was actually opened by the Trump administration. The Hill also went weak in the knees over the Vice President Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris jogged stairs at Lincoln Memorial in viral clip. Vice President Kamala Harris is the star of a viral video after being spotted jogging the stairs at the Lincoln Memorial, as a Secret Service agent was seen trying to catch up with her. In the short clip, Harris jogs down and then up the steps at the National Memorial, and during her jog, a man in a suit identified by local media as a Secret Service agent could be seen apparently trying to keep up with the vice president, who was noticeably moving faster than him. Yes, the 56-year-old woman was even faster than a highly trained and conditioned agent who has risen to the top of the service to serve in the Presidential Protection Division. Don't bother looking for a fact check. Those don't exist anymore, not while Joe Biden is president. And that is true, because when Joe Biden lies and he says there was no vaccine and there was no plan, guess what? That's just a gaffe. That's just a gaffe. So you either have a president of the United States who makes frequent gaffes, which is concerning. I don't want my president basically having important conversations and negotiations and just gaffing it up every once in a while, not knowing where he's at, or just being completely detached from reality. Because to say, well, there was no vaccines when I took office, even though I received my first dose of my vaccine before I took office, I'm so confused about what's going on, guys. It's bananas. All right, let's jump over to this tweet. But wearing a cloth mask protects you somehow. New York Post, COVID-19 study, virus survives on fabric for 3 days. A new study has revealed that the virus which causes COVID-19 can linger on fabrics such as clothing and upholstery for up to 3 days. Between polyester, a polycotton blend, and 100% cotton fabrics, the polyester posed the greatest risk. Even after 72 hours on full cotton samples, the virus lasted 1 day, while the polycotton blend remained contaminated by the viral droplets designed to mimic human saliva for just 6 hours. The breakthrough finding could be especially dangerous when it comes to clothing worn by healthcare workers, said Dr. Katie Lyard, a microbiologist and author of the study. If not frequently washed, the fabrics could help transmit the virus from patient to patient. When the pandemic first started, there was very little understanding of how long coronavirus could survive on textiles, said Dr. Laird. Our findings show 3 of the most commonly used textiles in the healthcare pose a risk for transmission of the virus. She continued in an interview for the university's news site. If nurses and healthcare workers take their uniforms home, they could be leaving traces of the virus on other surfaces. And it's not just that, but if you're wearing a mask on your face all the time using these same materials, and those materials basically trap the virus within the mask for days at a time, then I know I'm not washing my cloth mask as much as I should. I'm not saying that like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm saying I don't wash it as much as I probably should be washing my mask because it's something that's directly on my face. But I know for a fact there's people who just take off their mask, throw it on their rearview mirror, and then put it back on a couple hours later or minutes or the next morning when they're getting ready to go to work. And they just never wash their mask. So if they come across with somebody with COVID-19 or they themselves have COVID-19 and they can still spread it on their mask, or somebody touches their mask, somebody hands it to them, any of these situations, you are having the COVID-19 virus possibly being spread from the material on the mask. In terms of sanitizing, researchers also found that soap and scorching hot water at least 153 degrees was required to effectively clean 100% cotton fabric, which is commonly used for medical staff uniforms. Regular household washing machines typically only go up to about 130 degrees on their hottest settings. So you can't even get your washing machine hot enough to wash this. You need to have a medical specific high temperature industrial washing machine in order to clean your mask properly. I believe Steven Crowder has been saying this for months and months and months, basically saying that there's no evidence that your household washing machine using a household mask actually cleans it well enough to basically disinfect that mask that you're throwing back on your face after you had worn previously. So I guess unless you have 5 or 6 masks and you're cycling them out every day, and then you're just not wearing the same mask, and you're wearing maybe 2 masks a day, separating it depending where you change your location or your environment, and basically you have to give it 3 or 4 days break, and then you wear it again and let the virus die off naturally. But then if that mask touches another mask and the virus transfers over, you put it on your face and bing, bada bing, bada boom, you might be getting sick. You might be getting other people sick. Who is to know? But it's okay, friends. Just wear your mask. Wear your clothes. Bring your clothes home. I remember, I guess it makes sense now. I have a friend whose wife was very cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when this whole COVID-19 thing first started, and she made him strip down to his underwear. And she sprayed him down with Lysol every time he came home. He is an instructor. He deals with students all the time. I'm not going to get really specific in what he does, but basically, since he deals with students, even with the pandemic, and even though he wears a mask while in his lessons, she believed, and I guess rightfully so now, that even his clothes could be contaminated if somebody he was working with actually was sick with COVID, and she didn't want to run that risk. Apparently, she's in that high risk category with pre-existing conditions. So even though everybody made fun of him and passively made fun of her because of what he had to go through, I guess she was right, and we all owe her an apology. So that's going to be it for now, friends. I'll be posting another video up here in a couple hours. Until then, I'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.